I get a lot about eating a raw food diet is that it's way too strict. And personally, I don't think a raw food diet is strict at all. I think it's restrictive, but it's not strict. So what I mean by that is that a raw food diet is obviously restrictive in that it restricts certain foods. So on a healthy, low-fat raw vegan diet, you're going to avoid certain foods like meat, and grains, and obviously grilled and fried foods, and all cooked foods. So there are lots of foods that you're going to avoid. So obviously it's a restrictive diet. But to me, a raw food diet is not strict at all. It's actually incredibly freeing. So in a lot of different ways. The first way is that you get to eat lots of food. You get to eat so much food, and it's so satisfying and so delicious. This is something I talk about all the time because it's just awesome. As someone coming from a background of disordered eating and binging and having cravings and binging and things like that, it's so great that I can eat a large amount of food and not feel guilty. Even better, not feel bloated or uncomfortable or on the verge of nausea. That's just still so great to me. And so in that way, I think a raw food diet is incredibly freeing, and you can't get that from any other diet. You can just eat tons of food on this diet, as much as you want, and not feel guilty and not feel uncomfortable. It's great. Another way is that you get to eat dessert all day long. You get to eat fruit all day long in pretty much every meal. Most of your meals will be fruit-based. They will be sweet meals. And before I went raw, I certainly had a sweet tooth. I mean, I liked ice cream and chocolate and all those kinds of things, but I'd say I was more interested in the savory, salty kind of meals. Even before I adopted a vegan diet, I loved sunflower seeds, salted, roasted sunflower seeds. Oh my gosh, I would just eat an entire bowl in a sitting. And I love things like pizza and soups and all those kinds of savory foods. And like most people, you usually follow that with something sweet, like, ice cream or cereal or something like that. But it always started with the savory, more savory stuff. So even with that in mind, I still love being able to eat sweets all day. In fact, it doesn't so much seem like sweets to me anymore. It's just delicious, satisfying food. So that's the second way. You get to eat dessert all day. How fun is that? I mean, that's just really great. In fact, I had ice cream the other day for lunch. I had banana ice cream for lunch. It was awesome. I'll have a video on that very soon. But yeah, that's just so much fun to me. The third way is that there's no cooking. This is coming from someone who used to bake. It was my dream to be a famous cake decorator one day. I watched all the different cake decorating competitions and things like that, the shows that they would have on Food Network, and I was really, really into it, and I cooked as well. But I have to tell you, I love not cooking. I love how simple and easy this diet is and how little time it takes. It can be as easy as just peeling a few bananas for a meal, and the most complicated my meals get are preparing salads, which can take 5-10 minutes to maybe 20-25 minutes if I'm chopping up a lot of different ingredients. Again, not much time at all, and you don't have to deal with the heat and getting burned or getting hot water on you, all those kinds of things. It's just so simple, so easy. And what goes along with that, my fourth reason that a raw food diet is so freeing, is shopping. Shopping is incredibly easy. Whether you go to, say, a wholesale produce distributor, or if you just go to a grocery store or a farmer's market, it's just fruits and vegetables. In a grocery store, you're just in the produce section. It's very, very easy. It typically takes me like 10-15 minutes in a store, and most of that time is spent standing in line, often enough. And I go shopping like twice a week typically, and it's just very easy and doesn't take any time. And the fifth reason, I think, is probably the most obvious, is that the health results you get from this diet, I mean, they just can't be beat. Permanent weight loss and clear skin and nice hair, and avoiding all the different degenerative diseases, all the different Western diseases like diabetes and heart disease and stroke and all of those various cancers. That just can't be beat. So in my mind, I think a raw food diet is incredibly freeing. I don't see it as strict at all. I see it as wonderful. And so, yeah, I think if you think of it that way, if you change your perspective, you'll see that a raw food diet is it just isn't very strict. And Kitty agrees, don't you, Kitty? Mwah.